180 degrees changed the way people have pursued self-discipline. Some people might start with, well, start one habit and then build off of it. Habit stacking, very helpful, but that's not where I start. Some people might think, well, look at what other people have done and then copy that and try to figure it out. That's not what I do. I have a very specific tool that I use to help people establish self-discipline in their lives, and today I want to share my secret with you. Hi, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Cassie Rose. I have my cup of coffee as always, and I'm ready for us to have a conversation. Okay? Cool. My channel exists to give you practical tools to create room for your passion in life and pursue what you love. So we're going to have a conversation. Grab a cup of coffee because you will need caffeine to keep up with how excited I am to talk about this topic, because it is one of my deepest passions in life. Now I'm realizing that every time I make a video I say that because I'm not going to make a video about something that I don't care about. But this one really is. It really is something that fuels my soul. So I hope that you're as excited as I am. Before we get started, just go ahead and click subscribe down below if you have not already. That really helps my channel out, and turn on the notification bells so that you can see every time I post a new video. I really want to be able to make videos full time for you, so I would love if you could watch all my videos, support me, like, subscribe. That really affects my channel. And for all of those who already have, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for supporting me. And we're gonna go ahead and jump straight into this video. So the topic for today's video is, what is the secret to building self-discipline in your life? How is self-discipline created, cultivated? How can I put it into practice? How can I be disciplined? This is a big question because everybody wants to be disciplined, but either you don't want to put in the effort to do it, or maybe you're really just lost and you don't know how to get started. Well, I want to give you a very practical tool for helping you to define and establish self-discipline in your life. And this is a tool that I have used for myself. I used with different coaching clients that I have had, and it has changed. It has completely 180 degrees changed the way people have pursued self-discipline. It's a little bit different from how other people might begin to produce self-discipline. Some people might start with, well, start one habit and then build off of it. Habit stacking, very helpful, but that's not where I start. Some people might think, well, look at what other people have done and then copy that and try to figure it out. That's not what I do. I have a very specific tool that I use to help people establish self-discipline in their lives, and today I want to share my secret with you, and I think that you are going to find this not only extremely motivating, inspiring, but also very practical. So let's go ahead and start talking about the secret to building self-discipline in your life. My secret to building self-discipline in your life is to establish and define very clearly your why. Yes, your why. And by that I mean your why in life, why you do the things that you do. It is a decided motivation, it is predetermined, and if you want to know more about that idea of predetermined motivation, please go ahead and watch a video. I'm going to tag it up here. What's the difference between motivation and inspiration? But this is the key to creating self-discipline in your life and becoming a disciplined person. It is predetermining your why for making decisions in life. Now let's talk about this and dive into how defining your why can affect you. So I have a quote here from Stephen Covey, and it says, "Most of us spend too much time on what is urgent and not enough time on what is important." So when I have started to establish my why, I looked at a lot of different methods for productivity. And I looked at all the different methods, and I tried so many. I tried calendar blocking, time batching, tried different planners. I tried different things trying to create productivity and in turn create discipline in my life to do the things that I really wanted to do. And one of my favorite matrices for scheduling out your tasks is the Dwight Eisenhower matrix of decision. And it has 4 boxes and columns. So the first column above, we have the important column, the urgent column, important, unimportant, and not urgent. So looking at this graph, or I'll just, let it be whatever it is. When we have tasks that are both important and urgent, that important task means that it actually moves the meter closer to our goal. And that is a great way to define if something is worth your time. If it is urgent, that means it's measurable and it is timely and you need to finish it by a certain amount of time to get it done, and otherwise it is expired or it's late and you can't do it anymore. So this first box, looking at this box, kind of changed the way that I planned out my day, because, if you're in the very beginning stages of using something like this, I started to think, well, what qualifies as important to me? If I have to use these boxes to schedule my day, how do I decide what is important versus what's not important? Because this is really the biggest question for us. If something is important, that means that it is moving us closer toward our goals. And in order to define that, we need to have our goals defined, and then we need to have definable action steps for those goals. And this really brought my brain on this kind of spiral backward of reverse engineering this process, because obviously it's used for a reason. It's used because it is helpful and conducive to creating a workflow that gets the most important things done. So I wanted to take a step back and, before using that method, really define what is important. And in order to do that, I realized I needed to define my why. I needed to define my deep and predetermined reasoning behind what I did in life. I wanted to be disciplined, but when you're disciplined without direction, it creates disillusionment. Discipline without direction creates disillusionment. And the reason that I use that word specifically is because if you are acting as a disciplined person every single day, but you have no direction, you're never going to see clear results. And our society idolizes discipline done in the right way, and it idolizes personal development and all of these things. But when we do that without direction and then we don't see results, then we are disillusioned into thinking, well, what was the point in all of this to begin with? Why did I put all of this effort into waking up at 5 a.m. every day, going on that run, doing all this stuff, if we are doing this just for the sake of being disciplined? We are going to have a ridiculous reality check one day when we realize, why did I do this? What was my goal? I have gotten no closer to my dreams. I've gotten no closer to the plans that I had because I was just being disciplined for the sake of being disciplined. So when I thought about how to really establish self-discipline in my life, I wanted to take a step back and first clearly define my why. And for me personally, I defined my why for my business, for Dwenday, because I wanted every person that I employed with Dwenday also to have an understanding of why we do what we do. And I wanted all of those people, my writers, my graphic designers, I want all the people that are currently helping me to be able to look at our core values, which is the document that I mapped out to define our why. I wanted them to be able to look at that and say, okay, I understand why we're doing this. My first core value is that we love people and we serve people. That is the first core value. If you want to view all of my core values, you can go to dwen-day.com and view them on our mission page. And I wanted to define the fact that we do what we do to love and serve people. We do everything to breed clarity. We have these 6 core values that we live by, and that is what helps not only myself but all of the people working with me to create discipline in their schedules, because they're making room for what is important. Okay, so this is where we switch from not only creating our why but using our why to create self-discipline. I need some coffee. Now, you might be wondering, how do I create a why for myself? Maybe you're just an individual and you don't have a business or something like that. You might think, well, do I need a personal why? And yes, the answer is absolutely 100% yes, you need a personal why. Now, my core values for Dwenday are actually my core values for my personal life. These are core values that I live by every single day, no matter what. I have them on my wall. They are important to me. These are things that I think about on a daily basis because they are my personal why. When I go to wake up, whatever time I decide to wake up in the morning, which it does vary on occasion, I know why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I want to breed clarity in my life. So I need time in the morning to be able to create clarity for my day. You know, I need to be able to set aside time to fuel myself so that I'm clear on what my goals are for that day. That's a value that I have. I want to breed clarity in everything that I do so that I know why I do what I do. That is a defining core value. That is a why for me. Loving people and serving people, that is a defining core why, a core value for my life. And that's what helps me make decisions on what I'm going to do throughout the day. That's what gets me in the simplest way possible to empty the dishwasher for my mom. Every single morning I will try, and yes, Mom, I know. I don't always do it. Yes, I know. But the reason that I do it way more often now than I did when I was in high school or even before that is that I know that I want to love and serve people, and my mom is people, and I want to love and serve her to the best of my abilities by helping her keep our house clean and putting away the dishes in the morning so that we have the ability to keep our house cleaner. That is a core value and a why. That why has helped me to be disciplined in putting the dishes away. This is really, really simple, okay? This is not some big, extravagant thing. This is so simple to the fact that we have a reason for doing things, and so we get them done. If we do not have a reason for doing things, we will not have longevity in completing those tasks. If I was just doing the dishes just to put them away, I think, well, I don't really want to do it today. I don't feel like it. But my motivation is not that I feel like it. My motivation is that I want to honor and love my mom. I want to serve her to the best of my abilities. Are you tracking with me? Does this make sense? If it does, please pause the video, go down into the comments, and just comment something that motivates you as far as a why. What is your why? If you have established it. If you have not established it, go ahead and comment, I don't really know what my why is, but I want to learn. Have you commented? I'm going to give you a second. Did you do it? Okay, we're gonna move on. So we have established that the best method for creating self-discipline in your life is by defining your why. So let's reverse this a little bit more and let's talk about how can I define my why? Because if we are passionate and productive people, which if you're watching this channel, I think that you are, how do we define our why so that we can create passion and productivity in our lives through self-discipline? For me personally, this was a journey of learning to understand myself. I did a lot of journaling, I did a lot of thinking, I did a lot of conversing with friends who were disciplined or more passionate than myself in order to learn more from them. And so I have 3 different ways for you to create your why in life. The first way is to brain dump. If you've never brain dumped before, it's very simple. You just get a piece of paper and then you start writing down all of your possible whys, all of the things that you love, all of the things that motivate you. Do you love people? Do you love animals? Do you love taking care of people? Do you want, just write and dump everything out onto a piece of paper. This is the first step. Just dump it all out, get it all out there. You could read and look at other people's whys. You could go on dwenday.com/mission and you could look at what my core values are to kind of get an idea of some values to you. Do you value family? Do you value friendship? Do you value hard work? What are the things that you value? Then, once you have brain dumped, step 2 is to speak with other disciplined people about your ideas. Speak with other people and start talking to them. And if you don't have people in your life that you can just naturally have a conversation about this with, I would really suggest that you find some, because that's going to be key to just a life of discipline in general. For me, some of my best friends are very engrossed in this world of personal development, and I could talk to them for hours about this. My boyfriend is far ahead of me in the way of discipline, and so speaking with him really inspires me and helps me to want to get better in these areas because he is so disciplined, it's ridiculous. And so having these relationships with people allows you to really define your why deeper, because you can talk to them and converse and go deeper and define what it is. Second thing that you need to do is have a conversation about your brain dump. Have a conversation with somebody and really pick out things and highlight them and talk to them and define them more. And then number 3 is write out your core values and your why in a list. It could be 1 value, it could be 6, it could be 3, whatever it is. I wouldn't really go far beyond 6 to 10. Like, that's a little bit much. I think less is better. But define these things and write them out in a place where you can look at them every single day. So for me, I created this document that I look at, and I have it on my wall, and I can see these are my core values. And yes, they're the core values for my business. So when I'm working on my business, I can see them clearly too, but this is my life. This is my motivation. This is my why. And so after you have brain dumped and then you have talked to somebody else about it and kind of conversed and had more of a conversation with somebody who's also in this journey toward self-discipline, then you can write them out in a clear, beautiful, whatever way you want to do it. I made mine cute because I like making things cute, and I, designed it and everything, and I was really happy with that. But you don't have to do that. You could just write it on a piece of paper and then post it somewhere. Once you've done this, you can clearly define your why. And then as we move forward, then you can build discipline off of these core motivations, off of these core values and why concepts. Once you have those clearly defined, it makes the foundation for you to build your discipline systems on. A very key part of what Dwenday does, what my business does, is we help people create systems for productivity in their lives to make room for what they're passionate about. Now, the key to this process is building a firm foundation based on why you do what you do. Why do you want to accomplish X, Y, and Z goals? Why do you want to do it? I'm going to give you one example today, and then we're going to wrap this up. But the example for me is buying a house. So I live in the Bay Area. I live in the Silicon Valley, which is one of the most expensive places ever. And it is a lot of money. Pretty much the baseline for a single family home with 3 bedrooms or more is $1.2 to $1.5 million. That's a lot of dough. And I've grown up here pretty much my entire life, and I have just kind of gotten used to the idea that either I'm never going to have a house and I'll rent forever, or I need to somehow get $1 million to buy a home. So with that in mind, what if that is my goal, to buy a home? Let's define that as the end goal. And we're going to take a little journey here. If my end goal is to buy a home, we want to reverse engineer that to make that something possible. To buy a home, we need some action steps. We need to save a certain amount for a deposit, a down payment on a house, which maybe is like $400,000. Let's go with that. But we also need to establish good credit so we can get a loan for a mortgage on a house. We also need to get rid of debt so that when we have that mortgage, we're not paying all our money toward debt every month, but we're actually paying it toward the mortgage. And we want to define where we would like to buy this home and establish what our actual budget would be. So we have all of these things. Now, those are action steps. To accomplish action steps, you need discipline. Otherwise, it's going to get really difficult because they will become hard. Making $400,000 that you don't need to spend on other expenses in order to put a down payment on this house, that is hard. That is not easy, okay? So you need to backtrack it even further, and before accomplishing these action steps, you need a foundation of why you want to do this. Personally, for me, I want a home that is my own so that my children can live in the same house for their entire life. I did not have that privilege. I moved into like 9 different houses throughout my life, moved to different places around the Bay Area, in Oregon for a little bit. We moved around, and I want my kids to be able to grow up in the same house. I want to be able to afford a nice house in a nice neighborhood with nice schools so that my kids can have the best options possible. This is my motivation for building this strong future for my family. That is my motivation. That is my why. That is what is important to me. And what it comes back to is my core value that I want to love and serve people, and my family will always come first in that. I want to love and serve my family well, and that means making sacrifices today that allow my kids and my husband and I to have the absolute best life possible one day. So that's why I'm going to start being disciplined now to accomplish that goal. Do you understand where this is going? Do you understand where we're coming from? This is very important. And I'm actually going to have a downloadable copy of this so that you can get it from our website. You can go to dwenday.day/resources. If that's right, I'll put the correct thing right here and in the description below. You can go ahead and click that link and download this guide so that you can fill it in for yourself. Fill in what your goal is, fill in your action steps, and then start with your foundation of why. And if you do this and you post it on a wall somewhere, then you can really clearly define your why. I want to give you this tool. I want to give you this resource so that you can really grow. It's going to be free. Go ahead and go to our website, download it, and use this as a resource for your life. I hope that this video was helpful for you. I really enjoyed talking about this, and I want this to be very practical for you to help you to define your why and create self-discipline in your life to reach the dreams that you have and fulfill your passion. This is very important to me. Please like this video if this was helpful to you, if you found this insightful, and if you haven't already, go ahead and click subscribe down below and turn on the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I post a new video. I love you guys, and I hope you have an amazing day. I'll see you next week. Bye.